In this class, we are going to learn about with clause in Oracle SQL. With clause is also known as common table expression or the CTE. This is nothing but it is used to create the temporary result set. When we use the with clause, the result what is returned with the with clause will be available within the temporary result set and not sitting in any table, view or schema. The return data set, we can reference it in multiple places within the query. So the lifetime of the data, what is returned with the with clause, will be only up to the execution time of the SQL query and not after that. Once your SQL query has been executed successfully, the temporary result sets will be removed from the memory. So there are a number of advantages of using with clause we will see shortly. So this will make the SQL queries more readable. We will see how it will look like. It will be maintainable and sometimes more performant. Now, why to use the with clause in SQL query? First and the foremost thing is improved readability. So we can break down our complex queries into more readable queries using the with clause. Second is the reusability. Suppose if you want to make use of some data multiple times in the same query, then we can move that part of query to the with clause, and whatever result is returned, it will be sitting in the CTE variable. We will see what it will look like. And we can refer the variable in multiple places within the same query. Third is the performance. The optimizer might execute CTE once and reuse it wherever needed. And in the case of recursive queries, with clause can be used in the recursive queries. We will see how it will look like. Now, the simple syntax of using the with clause is your SQL query, what you want to reuse, or if you are using in multiple places in the same query, it will come over here. We can reference that with the CTE name over here, and this is how with clause will look like, with followed by the CTE name and then as and then our query. So once we are having executed this with clause, that is the SQL compiler will run this with clause first, then the result set will sit on the CTE name over here, and this we can refer over here in the subsequent query. So this entire thing is a single SQL query. So whatever result set is returned with the with clause, it will be available only up to the execution time of the query and not beyond that. So we have to save the data somewhere if you are looking to make use of the data later on. So this was about what is with clause, what are the advantages of with clause and the syntax. Now we'll have a quick demo on the same. First and the foremost thing is I will create couple of tables in my ATP database. I have connected to ATP database using the SQL developer. I will create employees table. Then if you are already having a table, then don't have to create one. I will create one departments table. This is just for the demonstration purpose I am creating. Then I have created a couple of tables over here, and then I will try to add some records that is into the employees and the departments table. I will add that quickly. Then we have successfully added the data into employees and the departments table. Now we will quickly see if the data has been added or not. First I will see in the employees table. Let me run this. Yeah, the data has been inserted successfully. Let me also validate in the department table. That is this one. Done. Department data also inserted successfully. Now we will see how we can use the with clause from basic and what are the scenarios wherein with clause will work efficiently. First and the foremost thing is we will see with the with clause, we will find the employees whose salaries are above 55K, and then we will join that details to the department and get the department detail as well. Now this is a query. I have written a simple query over here. Let me just copy from here and paste into the SQL developer. First and the foremost thing is in order to make use of common table expressions, that is the with clause, we have to make use of this syntax, that is with. It's a keyword followed by the CTE name. This you can give as per your convenience. Then AS. After that, we have to write the query within the parenthesis. I am writing select star from employees table where salary is greater than 55K. So this is going to return all the records from the employees table or the rows whose salary of an employee basically is greater than 55K. So once we are having this data, So how the data will look like is, I will show you now. I will run only this. So we are having 3 employees whose salaries are more than this. So this is the data which will be sitting in this with clause, that is in the temporary result set. So once you are having this data, we will refer this over here. That is, we are selecting from this temporary set, that is CTE, those variables, that is employee name, department name. Department name is coming from the join. We are having the join between this CTE. This will act like a table and we are joining with the departments table. That is, whose department ID is equal to department ID in the employees table. Here, as we are returning all the records, so department ID will be part of the return result set. So I am getting select star from name, that is employee name, department name, salary, that is from the CTE, that is with clause, and the departments table. So using the joins, we can make use of this PTE or the with clause. So this is one of the use cases how you can return the department details along with the employee details whose salary is greater than 55K. Now I will run this entire query. I am getting 3 employees. If we run only this, we are not getting the department name, but here we will get the department name. Now this is one of the simple use cases how we can use this with clause. I will move on to the next thing over here, that is equivalent subquery. Suppose if you had a similar requirement and you had to write with subquery, then the query would have looked something like this. I will copy paste over here. So this is more readable. As your complexity of query grows, using with clause, your SQL query will be more readable and easy to maintain and debug by anyone in your team or for the person who is joining your team. So it is always advisable to break the complex queries using the CTEs or the with clause. Now here, if you had to get the same details, you had to write this query. From the form, we had to again create this table data. We had to return this table over here and then we had to join. So if you are saying that this query is also small, but in actual project or while you are working for the customer, your subqueries will become very large and you have to reuse your queries multiple times. In that scenario, your with clause will come very handy. So this is how you can return the same data using the subquery and the with clause. Next, we are going to see one more case, that is multiple nested with clause. That is the multiple CTEs. This is called as. I will copy this and go to the SQL developer, remove this and paste. Here, what we are doing is within the same CTE, that is the with clause, we are returning 2 CTE names. That is, one is the department total salary and the highest budget department. So in the department total salary, what this will do is this will return the department ID and it will sum the total salary, like how much salary it is giving to all the employees using their sum of salary. So this data will be sitting in this department total salary CTE name. Coming to the high budget department, so if you are going for the multiple or nested CTEs, you have to separate them with the comma. Then you have to write again the CTE name, here the highest budget department. So here what we are doing is we are getting the department ID from the department total salary, that is again a CTE, first one. Also make use of the first CTE in the next CTE like this. So this is how the nested of the hierarchical CTEs will look like. Once we get the departments and the total salary, we will check which is giving the total salary, that is 1,10,000. So this is how we can write the nested CTEs. So once we get the data of a department who is giving the total salary that is more than 1,10,000, there is only one department, that is this one, which gives more than 1,10,000. Then we are getting the employee names, department and their salary from the employee table based on this condition. Now let me execute this. Now let's see who is deriving the maximum salary. So Bob and Eva are the highest paying persons over here. Suppose if you want to further drill down, you can write the where condition over here and you can tell E dot salary is greater than 60,000. Now you will see only employees in the highest paying department and also deriving the salary of more than 60K. Then we will see only Eva. So like this, we can create multiple or hierarchical CTEs using the with clause. Whatever I have explained, it's been written over here. So I will move on to the next thing, that is the recursive with clause. So you can write a recursive with clause using this syntax. I will copy this recursive with clause from here and I will paste it over here. Let me run this. So I'm getting the department ID and their level 1, 2, 3. Suppose if you're having few more departments, then it will mention the level over here. So this is how we can refer the CTEs. That is, here I'm having a with clause with this one and I'm joining that with the same with clause, and I'm trying to add the level for that particular department and return in the same query. And the same what is written in the recursive query, I'm showing it over here. So this is the concept of recursion. So this is how you can use the with clause for the recursive SQL queries. Coming to the update, you can use the with clause in update statement as well. Till now we have seen only the selection statements. So we can make use of with clause in the update as well. I will copy paste it over here. I will remove this line. So we can use the with clause in order to get the department bonus, that is the average salary, what it pays to the employees. And we can group based on the department and get the data over here. Then we can select the ID and the average salary from the department bonus. Suppose if you want to see what this is returning, department bonus, it will basically return the department and the average of the salaries it has paid. Next, what we are returning is we are getting the department ID and the average salary from the department bonus, so that we can return this like a SQL query response. So this will be a returnable. It will basically return the same data and it will be available in the letter D. Then we are just adding the salary by 2000. So like this, we can make use of with clause within the merge. There could be n number of ways how we can make use of CTEs or the with clause. Also, there is one more way how we can use the with clause within the merge. Also, this is a upset of this one. We had already seen how to use the merge and the update as well. It is similar like that. Also, we can make use of with clauses for the insertions of data. We can make use of CTEs in the case of views. So we can create a view and we can get the details using this with clause. We will see how we can use with clause within the view. Let me just run this. View has been created. Now let me just get the details from this view. Select star from this view. Let me run this. So we are getting the data of department, employee count, how many employees are there, and then the average salary. So if we have created a view with this name, then using the with clause, you can segregate how many employees are there and their salary and the departments in the department totals. And then we can get the department name with the help of join. Sky is the only limit when we are making use of CTEs in order to minimize the complexity of our SQL query. As and when you master the with clause, you will find the possibilities where you can use the with clause in your project or in the applications what you are building. One of the most common scenario using this CTEs or with clause is in the BIP report in the Oracle Fusion. Suppose if you are creating the data model or the report in Fusion Analytics, that is the BIP report, you can make use of with clause and you can create the SQL queries to act similar like your stored procedures. So this is one of the ways or practical example where you can use the with clauses. Here is one of the example how we can write the CTE or the with clause SQL queries to act like a procedure. I will copy this from here. I will paste it over here. So if you want to build the SQL query to act like a procedure in the case of data model when you are building for Fusion Analytics or BIP report, we can write the multiple nested CTE expression something like this, where we're getting the department average over here, that is average salary. Then we are getting the unpaid employees, that is over here putting a join. Then format report. Basically, if you are passing the parameters to your report, you can get the individual data sets by writing the SQL queries like this, and we can attach that parameters as a bind variables to their SQL query. Once you get the data, the main query, you can write it over here and you can return the response back. So like this, you can build the procedure-like functionality using the with clauses in the places while building the applications which does not support writing PLSQL procedures or functions. Example is the BIP report data model.